Who agrees with me that Li Shan and Mr. Ping are gay for each other? Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Studios here, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I'm going to be doing a review on Kung Fu Panda 4. So Kung Fu Panda 4 is the fourth installment in the Kung Fu Panda quadrilogy, and is soon to be a sequel trilogy of Kung Fu Panda based on what I've heard. Since DreamWorks is planning on making a new set of trilogy with 4, 5, and 6, and it's directed by not Jennifer Yu Nelson but Mike Mitchell, the same director as Shrek Forever After, Lego Movie 2 the second part, Sky High, and some crappy films like Trolls and Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecks. Ugh. And the film it stars Jack Black, Dustin Hoffman, Ian McShane, and James Hong, and Bryan Cranston returning to reprise their roles. And new cast members include Aquafina, Viola Davis, and the other one I forgot, Ronnie Chieng, etc. And so Kung Fu Panda 4 tells the story of the Dragon Warrior Po after he now wields the staff of Master Oogway. Po, as he prepares to become the ruler, the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, basically where Oogway is. But Po isn't ready because he wants his whole life to be all about the Dragon Warrior, and Po has no choice but to pick a new Dragon Warrior. Pick a new Dragon Warrior, but he refuses to, and Shifu gets pissed off because of that. But one day, this evil chameleon named the chameleon, a shape-shifting creature who pretty much turns into anybody, but mostly in the film it's the old masters who chameleon turns it into. She wants to take over the valley, and so Po must go on a journey to find this chameleon, and he needs the help of Zen, a thief, a wanted thief, and a quote-unquote criminal who apparently is the one who's going to be the new Dragon Warrior. So both Po and Zen must work together to travel to Gongnam, I think that's the name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Gongnam. In order to find this chameleon, because the chameleon's temple is there, and be able to find out what the chameleon wants, why, what the chameleon wants, why is she doing this, and all that stuff. That's the plot for Kung Fu Panda 4. I will admit, when the movie was first announced back in 2022, I honestly was skeptical and concerned about it. I was like, really? Kung Fu Panda 4? I mean, I thought 3 concluded the film enough. Like, this was unnecessary. I personally found this to be unnecessary, and I think it wasn't needed. So I did feel concerned about it. I still remember exactly when this was announced, because I still remember this was announced in one of the most memorable days ever. It was when I saw Bullet Train theaters, and that was a great time for me. I love how I actually get to remember exactly the day Kung Fu Panda 4 was announced. And I didn't really have a first good impression. But I know my good pal Harry Thomas was overjoyed to hear that Kung Fu Panda 4 was happening, because he made a good point that there are actually more stories in this universe that they could tell, especially now that Po wields the stuff and he has a higher power than before. But later on, eventually, I started to become optimistic about the film. I was like saying, hey, when I heard about new details about the film, I was like, hey, this actually could be really good. Yeah, and then in Comic Con 2023, Jack Black announced when they revealed the plot synopsis for the film. I was actually in. I was actually on board with the film, and now I started to get excited for it. And also, you also got the concept of the new character Zen, who apparently is going to be the new Dragon Warrior. And I was like, okay, I'm in. I mean, a female fox. A female fox. I mean, yeah, sure, she's voiced by Aquafina, who may have pissed off some Kung Fu Panda fans. But yeah, okay, whatever. The trailer really impressed me. I know there's some people who hated the trailer, said it looks bad. Honestly, I like the trailer. I don't get the hate for the trailer. I mean, the trailer did showcase a lot of action and a banger soundtrack. You know, with the dun 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 dun. Yeah, Seven Nation Army. Yeah, that was a great. Yeah, that was a banger of a trailer. It sucks that DreamWorks barely marketed this movie. They lied to us about a second trailer. I mean, I was already prepared to do a second trailer for reaction to Go for Battle 4, but turns out they lied to us about that announcement. They like no second trailer. The TV spots were there, but they were not. They didn't get any attention. Although there was that Dune Sand thingy, and I really like that. I'll admit that was like genius right there. That was a great move. But still, this movie surprisingly had very little marketing, and the people who saw the film early on were not a fan of the film. Yeah, the film has divisive reviews. As there are some people who say that you know. There are some people who say, how do I say this? There are some people who say the movie was pretty good and they enjoyed it, and there are others who say the movie was underwhelming. Underwhelming, yeah. I saw the film for myself today, and what do I think of the film? I actually really enjoyed this movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. Yeah, it was such a fun movie to like. Is it a perfect movie? Nope. Is it on the same level as Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2? I will admit, honestly, I was actually anticipating this film to be as good as Kung Fu Panda 1 and 2. In fact, I honestly was anticipating this to be better than 1. Yeah, I was expecting this movie to be another Kung Fu Panda masterpiece. And no, it was not a masterpiece at all. Not even close. But I still had a good time with this film. And it turns out this movie did not need to go that hard. It didn't need to be on the same level as the first two. This is more on the same levels as Kung Fu Panda 3. So yeah. But even though it didn't need to be as good as Kung Fu Panda 3, it did succeed in the entertainment value, because let me tell you all, I actually was very entertained in this film. It's actually a very entertaining movie, and yeah, it's fun, it's action-packed, it's fast-paced, and yeah. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, do you only like this film because of how fun it is? You do know that fun isn't enough to make a movie good. Well, I don't care. I mean, I like fun movies. I'm sick of people just saying that fun movies are. I'm sick of people saying that fun movies are are bad. Yeah, and just saying that movies need to be more artsy and all that stuff. I like artsy movies, but you don't need to be artsy all the time to be good. Like sometimes, good action movies are just yeah. So I will get to my flaws later, because I want to start with what I liked about this film. Yeah. Where do I start with this? Let's start with the action scenes, because let me tell you guys right now, the action scenes are really good, man. Yeah. I had a lot of fun with the action scenes, and I think this is some of the best action scenes in the franchise. I'm shocked that people say that this actually has the best action. in the trilogy. I don't think it's better than the action in the first two. I mean, you literally got like some of the most iconic action scenes in the entire franchise. Like some of the most iconic animated action scenes, like the first film when Shifu versus Tai Long in the climax, also Paul versus Tai Long, and also he had some amazing, some mind blowing action scenes in the second film, like Poe and the Furious Five are running on the tower, on the falling tower and jumping, as well as that big and ambitious final battle with all the masters fighting alongside each other, and then Poe literally like catching the cannibal and throwing it back at Lord Shen's ship. How cool is that? Yeah, nothing can, when it comes to this franchise, nothing can beat the action scenes in the second film. But when it comes to this film, the action scenes actually are awesome. They are a lot better than the third film. I like the third film action scenes, but the action scenes in this one are excellent. Yeah, and I can kind of understand why people would say this is the best in the franchise. I mean, like this, maybe I will say, I mean, when it comes to, excitement wise, when it comes to like the overall impact the action scenes make, yeah, that's pretty much a bit of a step back from 1 and 2 for me. It's the emotional the impact where you just literally just cheer and it'll leave you on the edge of your seat. I really like that. Now, yeah, it didn't really give me goosebumps or anything. It didn't really. Well, I did cheer at one part of the action. I'm gonna save that for later. Save that for later. There will be a spoiler segment in this review, but don't leave yet because don't worry, I will be considering of you guys. But yeah, what I would say, this probably has the best choreographed fights in the franchise. I mean, the creative ideas there, like really good. Like the way they animated the fight scenes, that is where the strength lies. Where the strengths lie. I mean, you literally got some really cool stunts, some movements, like for example, in the action scene in the tavern, when they just, when the enemies would throw their knives, and then Zen would just hit them with the back of the knives, like I don't know how to describe it, but you see that in the trailer. Poe versus Stingray was actually awesome too, I gotta say. And man, the final battle where Poe where Poe faces off against a chameleon, also really good as well. And oh yeah, also there's a big action scene as well. Just like the second and third film, there was actually a climax involving an army, because basically Zen got the armies on the place he lives in with Ki Hoi Kwan's character, which I'll talk about later, and the bunnies and all the criminal animals. Yeah, they all like work together to fight against the fight against the chameleons armies. Yeah, that was a great action scene. The animation is, while I still think Kung Fu Panda 3 has the best animation in the franchise, this one still has really good animation. It's just that the Kung Fu Panda 3 had the Spirit Realm scenes. The animation in the Spirit Realm, well, this one didn't have it at all. But this one had some of the creativity in the action scenes, like that evil pig warthog character where she where she takes a sword and just like swings it, and then you see some creative painting shots, like when that pig like draws her sword, you see like this creative painting shot right there, and it's really cool. Also, another action scene I really like was when Poe and Zen were facing off against a bunch of traps, like and they're like moving traps, and they had to like jump together. Yeah, that was well choreographed. I gotta say. But yeah, the animation is still really good. I mean, it's nothing really special. It's not like wow. It's not a wow factor animation, but it's really good. The backgrounds are great. The character designs are all very well made, and yeah. And as for some of the more important aspects of the quality, the story is good actually. I think this is a good story. Yeah, sure, it does take some tropes from the other Kung Panda films, like for example, like for example, Mr. Ping being worried about Po. Every time Po go, goes on an adventure, Li Shan would just get worried about it. Like, oh no, what if Po gets in danger? Oh no, we gotta follow him. Yeah, basically, that's really Mr. Ping. Always like so like that's really Mr. Ping's character. Always constantly just worried about Po. Every time Po goes on a mission, Lisha would just be like, "No, Po, you're gonna be in danger." Yeah, and all that stuff. And also in the how do I say this? And also characters would just look at Po and be like, and then Po would be like, "I'm the Dragon Warrior," and then a bunch of new characters will come around and be like, You're the Dragon Warrior? No way, you're so fat and you're just a panda. How can you be the Dragon Warrior?" Yeah, basically throughout all the Kung Fu Panda films, everyone would just treat Po like a joke and look at him and be like, how are you the Dragon Warrior? You're such a joke. Although the tropes didn't really, it's just a nitpick because the tropes, those franchise tropes didn't really bother me. A part of me feels like this was different from the other Kung Fu Panda films. Kung Fu Panda films. I wonder why. Oh wait, no Furious 5. Yeah. Now, how did they handle the Furious 5? I know you guys are worried about the Furious 5 not being in the film and might affect the film. Yeah, they were not in the film that much. Yeah. I will say though, they did have an explanation as to why. In the beginning of the film, there was an explanation as to why the Furious 5 were absent in the film, and I will say I'm actually fine with it. Well, the explanation was the way they explained how the Furious 5 was absent, where that was handled pretty decently, and at least, and this is entirely a post story. So I was okay with not seeing the Furious 5. I mean, what would they do in the film? Just stand around, just follow Po wherever he goes. This is entirely Po's story. I mean, I like how they actually do make Po a very independent character. Like he didn't really need help with the Furious 5. Furious 5. Although yeah, they did say that the Furious 5 were going to. They did mention that the Furious 5 they were actually going to face off against the Chameleon. What happened to that though? I mean, that would have been a possibility for the Furious 5 to show up in this film, but no, I don't mind. I mean, at least you still got Po. I mean, imagine making a Kung Fu Panda movie with just a Furious 5 and Shifu, but without Po. Yeah, it would not be Kung Fu Panda without Po. It still felt like I was watching a Kung Fu Panda movie despite Po not being in it. The story actually makes sense. I will admit that yes, it is true that this movie didn't really need to exist, but at least the movie that did its best to actually serve a purpose. It's to show change and show what Po's life is like after getting the staff from Uruguay, and now Po is decided to become the leader. He's giving up his rights. He's giving up the rights of the Dragon Warrior and must choose someone else. Yeah. It almost feels like at times it almost feels like a retread of the first film. It's like it's trying to pull off a Star Wars: The Force Awakens, where the next Dragon Warrior is going to be how to say this, the next Dragon Warrior is going to be someone else, someone unexpected. Yeah, someone who no one would expect. No one would see as the next Dragon Warrior, but yeah, end up being the new, not Dragon Warrior, but rather hero, because I'm still making that Star Wars / Kung Fu Panda there, and yeah, the movie also does have a great message that change is important. I like how they said they use a bunch of riddles to tell us the message without hammering it down their throats. Basically, they say that how do I say this the menu is the same, but it can get tiring and old. That's why you have to change it, something like that. It reminds Poe that change is necessary. It's necessary. Yeah. I like how this movie used similar tactics to the first film in order to deliver its message. Like, remember how the first film just where they expected they were expecting the scroll, the Dragon Warrior scroll to be written out, but turns out it was all blank. But then they realized that the secret ingredient is nothing. It's nothing. But then that just turned into a very important message. It's hard for me to summarize that message, but it was leading towards a message. Yeah, I love how they did that here in Kung Fu Panda 4. Yeah. Yeah, Poe's still a great character. He's still a very well developed character. He has such great character development. I still cared a lot about him, and yeah, he never get his character. Yeah, never gets old. He's still like he never loses his side, and never. I don't think he ever will. Even in Kung Fu Panda 5, if it still happens. Li Shan and Mr. Ping really do have some great chemistry. Yeah, sure, they're sidelined for majority of the movie because all they do is just follow Poe and then just help him. But every time they're together, they have really good chemistry. They have really good chemistry. And also, I think they're gay. Yeah, because they always talk about how they're both dads of Poe. And in order to be parents, you gotta be married. So it's so obvious that Poe and Mr. Ping are gay. This is not a flaw of the movie. What I'm about to say, it's not really a flaw of the movie, but but I wish DreamWorks would address both of them more as an actual gay couple. Like, have them open up to each other and make them have some romantic feelings for each other. But I feel like it's so obvious that DreamWorks was afraid of doing that because they go down the path. They think that they would go down the same path as Disney. Yeah. Remember when Lightyear had that same-sex kiss and it led for people to not watch the movie, to have it flop, parents to stay away, and for the anti-SJWs to call that movie out and be woke. Or maybe they don't need to kiss. They can still be like, maybe they can do what Strange World did with Ethan and the other guy, I forgot his name. Them being a gay couple and then just saying, hey guys, he's my boyfriend. I love him. Yeah, no, that didn't work either. Because parents, even with LGBTQ references, parents would still get mad about it because they're encouraging their kids to be gay. Well, honestly, I gotta tell you guys, there is nothing wrong with being gay. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with gayness in it. There's nothing wrong being gay. It's not bad. I mean, there's so many movies. There's a reason why we get a lot of movies where they have gay. So DreamWorks, please just hopefully Kung Fu Panda 5 and 6, they can actually address them as gay characters. DreamWorks, don't be afraid. Just take that risk. Have the balls to actually make them have romantic feelings for each other. But yeah, I can really see that in them. I can really see that chemistry in them. But then you got the new characters. Zen is new characters. Now Zen, I love Zen. I know I said in my out of theater reaction that Zen is my favorite Kung Fu Panda character. Well, I gotta think about that. I'm not sure if maybe I might have praised her too much. But I gotta say, I prefer Zen over all the Furious 5 members. I will admit. So, but I love Zen in this one. She definitely is among the best. Is she the best though? Really, my favorite character in the series? I'll have to think about that one. But I gotta say, I love Zen, and I know Harry Thomas said recently in a comment that he thinks that on my Instagram post that Zen would only might only be in a movie just to replace the Furious Five. No, that was not the case. In fact, Zen is there to actually be Zen's actually destined to be a Dragon Warrior. She doesn't really do anything the Furious Five does, and Poe and Zen actually do share great chemistry. And I know you're worried about Aquafina like voicing her. He's like, oh, Aquafina is everywhere. Why you keep putting Aquafina in your movie? So honestly, I gotta say, son, this is honestly the best Aquafina performance yet, in my opinion. Aquafina's best performance yet. Yeah, why? Because while there are some Aquafina performances where she was annoying, she could be annoying and just like cringy. This one actually feels very mature. Like you can see that she actually does have like she actually like takes herself seriously. Yeah, sure, there are a few jokes that Zen makes, but I never found it annoying once. Aquafina does show potential that she is great. Okay, yeah, maybe not the best because the Pharaoh exists, but definitely one of Aquafina's best voice performances by far. This is by far. Also, I like the Ki Hui Kwan character. I like how I like how now we got to now we got now we got majority of the Everything Ever All at Once cast members here. Michelle Yeoh, James Hong, Ki Hui Kwan. I hope Stephanie Shu can be next. Because you all know Stephanie Shu is my favorite of the cast in Everything Ever All at Once. Everyone knows that. The voice acting is great as well. Jack Black, yeah, Arisa Aquafina. Viola Davis is great as well. Gave a great performance. Ki Hui Kwan was good too. Pretty much everybody gave a good performance. Gave a great performance. Really enjoyed it. Enjoyed seeing their talents. Anything else? Yeah, I think it's about time for me to get to my flaws with the film, and I have two flaws, two major flaws with the film, two heavy problems. The first one being the humor. There were some funny bits in the film, specifically with Lee Shan and specifically with the banter between Lee Shan and Mr. Mr. Fong, I think, and Mr. Ping, yeah, Mr. Ping, yeah. They both actually share a great banter each other. Yeah, there was one scene that I actually did get a really good laugh at. Basically, when Li Shan opens this, how do I say this? Li Shan pretty much goes into this tavern where Po and Zen were to fight a bunch of goons. They're basically looking for them, and then Li Shan's like, I'm gonna, like, he literally threatens to, like, by the time that, hey, we're gonna do this the easy way or the hard way. Yeah, when they threatened Mr. Ping, and then he literally beat the crap. And then when Li Shan actually beat the crap out of them, and then the house, that tavern was literally placed on top, was literally placed on the edge of a cliff. And guess what? The tavern actually fell on the ocean, on the water. And I was laughing at that. That was actually funny. Not gonna lie. I don't remember. I chuckled. Oh shit! I chuckled a few times in the movie, but unfortunately, yeah. Now, thankfully, besides a fart joke that happens, there were no besides a small fart joke. There were no lowbrow humor. It's just forgettable humor and humor that didn't really get me to laugh. I mean, the first two films. And even the third one kinda had pretty solid humor, but this one probably has the weakest humor out of in the franchise. And as for my other flaw, probably my biggest issue with the film is how underwhelmed I was with Chameleon. I mean, Chameleon, she could have been she had so much potential to be the best Kung Fu Panda villain. Why? It's because of how cool she is. How cool she is. Yeah, she is basically a shapeshifter who can literally shapeshift into different masters, and even Po himself. She seems like a great obstacle for Po because great obstacle for Po because she can literally be anyone. And I always love these shape shifting villains because it's hard for you to trust anybody. Because what if your companion is actually that person in disguise of your friend? Like it's so easy to imagine that. It's so easy to imagine that happening and all that stuff. And yeah, it's so easy to imagine that. But the problem with Chameleon is that she barely has a motivation. Yeah, sure. Her motivation, I get it. They didn't want her to be the Dragon Warrior because she's small and her appearances, but that's it. I mean, there's no unique motivation. I mean, look at the other villains. So they actually have good motivation. But this one, yeah, it's missing in motivation and screen time. Yeah, Chameleon only has very few screen time. One in the first act of the film, she gets a bunch of small appearances in the first for the first act. She was never in the second act at all, and maybe wrapping up, she did appear when the second act ended, like when they wrapped up the second act. And she's entirely there in the third act. I was like, okay, we're going somewhere. Let's see. But I mean, she is cool and ambitious, but there really isn't much to her, and it just sucks that she had to be that way. Yeah, very disappointed. I think Chameleon is the weakest Kung Fu Panda villain. So yeah, so that's two things that this movie does the weakest out of the trilogy, out of the weaker than the first three: humor and villain. Now, I'm going to be getting into some spoiler territory. I want to talk a bit about spoilers about this one scene. Maybe like a few others. A few scenes. So yeah, skip to this time frame to avoid spoilers. Now I want to talk about this one plot twist in the film, because trust me, guys, has not been a plot twist yet, unless if you count Poe's backstory as a plot twist. There isn't really one. Now, what are the plot twists? What's the plot twist in the movie? Well, basically, Zen is a twist villain. Well, kind of a twist villain. She was actually working for the Chameleon this whole time. Well, basically, we know that Zen is actually kind of a bad guy. She's a criminal who steals. She robs. She robs and all that stuff. But then they had great banter. But it turns out Zen was actually working for the Chameleon this whole time. It was revealed sometime in the second half of the film when Zen asked Poe to give her his staff to help. But turns out she actually got it to give it to Chameleon, and it was revealed that the Chameleon has been Zen's it has been revealed that Zen was working for the Chameleon this whole time, and I gotta say, yes, on paper that twist would have been pretty dumb and forced, but actually I'm glad it did, because there was actually great redemption arc there. I mean, I think the twist was there for redemption arc. The redemption arc, yeah. When the plot twist happened, I was actually looking at my watch, and it was only 50 minutes, 50 minutes in the movie, and so I was like, oh, thank God, that's still a lot of time. I mean, they could literally have Zen. They could actually give Zen a redemption arc, because let's be real here, I don't see Zen being a villain, being an actual antagonist who would antagonize Poe. I mean, she actually and her redemption arc actually worked, and I actually cared about her so much so that I actually rooted for Zen, because Zen, because Zen actually took a Poe's staff and kicked the crap out of Chameleon. Yeah, I mean, sure, Poe did fight a Chameleon first, but Zen was actually the one who finished it. Yeah, remember in the Star Wars, remember in the Star Wars: The Force Awakens final battle where Rey, the supposed new Jedi Master they're calling to, was the one who finished the final battle and defeated the villain. That's what they did with the Chameleon. Yeah, Zen actually was the one who finished it. Yeah, she is such a badass. That was such a badass moment right there, and it actually made me cheer for Zen. So yeah, very happy for her. Oh yeah, and one more thing I forgot to mention as well is that the Furious Five actually appeared in the very end of the film. Sadly, they didn't have any speaking lines at all. They were there because apparently when Poe was the one when Zen was finally chosen to be the Dragon Warrior, but she had to face changes. The Furious Five, they were called in to help Poe train Zen to become the next Dragon Warrior, and it was just happy to see them back. I was happy it was nice to see them back, yeah. So overall, Kung Fu Panda 4 may not be the masterpiece I was expecting, but it is still a serviceable film for the most part. Yeah, it was still a fun, entertaining, and actually great film that I actually prefer over the third film. That I actually like better than the third film. Yeah, while it does have an underwhelming villain and it does lack in humor, the film it still has a pretty solid story, great character arcs, and fun action scenes. And I mean, this movie actually does fix that mistake from that flaw from the third film, where the third film did lack action scenes. This one actually had a lot more action scenes, like way more action. There was a lot of action in this one. And I was never bored throughout. Yeah, Kung Fu Panda 3 did have a few scenes that bored me, but this one never had a boring scene at all. So yeah. So with that said, I'm going to give Kung Fu Panda 4 stars out of 5. Great movie. So yeah, that's all for my review of Kung Fu Panda 4. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the film yet. I assume not. So yeah, are you excited to see the film or not? And how would you personally rank the Kung Fu Panda movies and Mike Mitchell movies? So yeah, if I were to rank the Kung Fu Panda movies, they would be number 4 is 3, number 3 is 4, number 2 is 1, and number 1 obviously 2. If I were to rank Mike Mitchell's movies, I would say I've seen 6 of his films. I've seen that. I forgot what I thought about. I've seen like 7 of his films. I'd say Trolls is obviously the worst one. What do you expect? Number 6 is Alvin and the Chipmunks Shipwrecked. Number 5 is Saving Christmas. Number 4 is Sky High. Number 3 is Kung Fu Panda 4. Number 2 is Shrek Forever After. And Lego Movie 2 would be my favorite Mike Mitchell movie. Haven't seen Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. I haven't seen that one. And I don't know if I'm interested. So yeah, comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for more videos to come. Probably my review of that. Stay tuned for the continuation of the Frozen Awards 2024, as well as my review for Damsel, which is going to be the next review that I'm going to be doing. So yeah, bye guys.